So, welcome back to a little update video. This time before the market closes, so you all can take your decisions. So we will talk, will AMC now still fall or go up? Will GME now squeeze with all the Ryan Cohen buying? What is this little candle on Beyond today? What is this little candle on Bed Bath and Beyond today? Is SAVA now really squeezing tomorrow or next week? And is still FCEL going up? If you want to know more, just stay tuned. So, as always, I'm using this method here, the Fractal Method. I made an updated version. I will link the video at the end of the video, or if you are already interested, just search for the playlist Fractal Method. So, we start with the most important one, AMC today. So today, because it's a very short video, we will talk just for the price action in the last section here. If you want to know everything, I try to link the big story video at the end of the video, or I think it's the second last video where I talk about everything. Yeah. Just saying, my price targets, I'm two-part squeeze, 151 for first one, 900, 800, 700 for second part. So let's look at what we did. So sadly, we didn't get any confirmation this week. I expected way more this week for this short week because it would have been just easier tracking. So sadly, we still have 3 versions of this. But the thing is, even I agree, we are getting close. And that's why I'm making this video during market hours, because tomorrow is Friday and we all know AMC and GME like to run Fridays, Mondays. That's why it's an early video today and it's just a short one. So we have still 3 versions. We start with the absolute bearish one. That would be the third version. That just means we didn't got our button on January 8th. We will knife, make new lows and start all over again. If we do that, April. Okay. Now we start with my main version, which I could be wrong. That still means it's still the same tracking since the last weeks. That means this little blip candle on Wednesday was just our M. And tomorrow, or if you're taking longer, next week, we still have to fall down under 155, come up again for our T, and then we fall under our price target 151. And then anytime we can squeeze. But for this, you're not allowed to break 170. Just saying. If you maybe just doing it right now. If we break 170, then version 1 comes into play. That means you will go over 180. You will form your B. You will then take your BA bottom, because this would be A then. Make a 0.5 pullback. Come up again, form your C. This would be your A. And then you fall back to your 0.5. So in this case, it would be something like this. Oh, no. So something like this. My God, stay where you are. So bounce and then you squeeze. Yeah. For this version, in the shortest form, I would say 1 or 2 weeks. Yeah. The only problem I really have with version 1 is, you can easily, if you do this bounce, squeeze. Everyone is happy, perfect. The only problem is, if we're doing that and we are here, we still have two possibilities. One, we squeeze. Fucking nice. Second, would mean that this whole thing then would be just higher low. And in that case, you would still have to drop under your 142 mark. And again, then it's April. And the shitty part about this, if we do that, there's no way to say it's 100% version 1 squeeze, it's 100% we still have to drop down. The biggest problem with this shit right now is that we only made this little small higher low. And to say that this little small higher low, this, you didn't even see it, is the higher low of this whole thing, but it's most time. We are so close, who knows? Yeah. So I would like to see version 2. If you break 170, in my opinion, it's version 1. And then we can just hope that whatever this little small higher low is enough to squeeze. Okay, next one, GME. So again, for the full story, it's the second video, I think. Today, we just talk about this little price action. Just in the summary, my price target for whenever we squeeze is around 300 to 500. It's just this trend line. You can break a little bit over it, but just because I'm tracking this as a B, and that's the crazy thing, because I think we do a pullback after that, a 0.5, and then even go higher. But you saw already how long the A pullback take. Yeah? But that's why I don't think we will just go to 5,000 or something. My price target is still this. So let's look what we did. So, and the sad part is also for GME. I mean, for GME, I only have two versions. First version is for you bullish people, because of Ryan Cohen is buying. But I already found cases where he bought and we got the knife. But the thing is, if you break over 23.55, which would also break this candle, even I can't say that's bearish. I just can't. In that case, November was really a V. December 31st was your higher low. We even did a small higher low after that. That would means if you break this level. So if you really break here over this level, 23.58, it's upside. But to say this, I still think we will go up, not breaking $30. This would be your A. Then you take the 0.5 from your low to your peak, and you do the 0.5 pullback. Whatever this is then, dilution news, whatever. And when GME is reaching this target, then I think AMC will also be finished with its little ABC. And then you just go. Yeah. Bullish version. Bearish version still stays the same for me. What means this is your little T, which is at the same time your C. This is your lower high. No, it can't be your lower high anymore. No. Then this is your lower high here. And this is your M. In that case, you have to reject this trend line. If you reject this trend line, you will knife down, maybe coming up again, doing your T, and then your next target is still down here. Yeah, you have to come at least 1 cent lower than 1961. Yeah, my price target is still 70.60, but as I already said, I'm absolutely okay with anything around here. Yeah, but for this, we have to reject here. We just have to. If not, this version is dead. And again, because it never happened, for me, it would be the same like this landmark here. Yeah, that would mean March 2025, March 25, 2024. Also, everyone was bullish here. And everyone said, is the bearish tracking really still valid? Because we broke over this. And then we knifed. Yeah? Careful. And even if you compare this to 2020, so here's 2020, in that case, you would be still also here in July 2020. Also here, everyone said, we broke over this level. We are going now. And then we knifed. Yeah? So, careful. But I agree with this price action right now. It looks bullish. If we break this trend line, it is bullish. If we break over 23.55, we will do the A run. If not, I would say most likely next week is fucking red. Okay. Next one is BYND. So for BYND today, also just for the little update, only this section here, just for the summary. If this higher low is now really finished, our next price target, pretty quick, I would say February, March, maybe already next week, is around $26 to $15 for our A. This should really, if we're doing anything similar to the higher low in October, pretty fucking steep and quick. Then you will just make a 0.5 pullback or breakout retest. The pullback, if it's the same shit like we did with the higher low, could take some time. And then we go to our B, which is as 43. But now look what we have done. So for this, I had always two versions. The one version was that this whole thing is our higher low. And this section here was just our T. In that case, we would still gap fill to 66 cents. With that price action today, I don't know. I get bullish now. In that case, this big higher low was already finished on November 21st. And what we just did since then is just a little micro higher low to this. And also in this case, this higher low was finished on December 31st. Also interesting, November 31st was the low. December 31st was the higher low. Same what GME did. So maybe. And I also said this higher low was finished. We just made a breakout, retest, and this thing would just have been your little higher low. Your little higher low to all this. I know it's fucking big, but yeah. And I said, yes, in the last video, for being bullish, you have to bounce here. Yeah, because if you would have broken 89 cents, you would still have to do, in the best case, 86 cents, the V under A, and we would have looked at this as a higher low. But we bounced here. And with this candle today, I mean, you could still say this is your T. Yeah. But, I mean, maybe not. Yeah. For me, this thing is finished with a perfect V and A. This is just micro A, which should end in a 0.5 or a 0.618. So your bounce target, if you're not bouncing here, your bounce target would be 95 cents or 94 cents. And then you just go. And the level is already showed. The only alternative really For downside right now would really just be, this is T. You have to come lower than this, and then it's the old tracking, and you really have to go to 86 cents to bounce. Yeah. If you go over $1.04, in my opinion, this is gone. And if you go over 110, I would even say we put the no old anymore exactly at 110. If you're going up from here, it's upside. So yeah. Next one is Bed Bath & Beyond. So here's the tracking for Bed Bath & Beyond. I had the bearish and the bullish one. For the bearish version, that would just have meant that this whole thing is just our T and we have to do new lows. Just can't see that anymore. For the bullish version, this whole fractal since 2020 was finished in April. Since April, we just did a higher low, which ended on December 31st. And now we look what we have done. Just for levels, next price target is our A, which is around 15 to 18. So normally you would go up, breakout retest, then B at 36, 0.5 pullback C. If you're doing something similar to 2020, you won't get these pullbacks. It would just be a straight up. So now look what we have done. So here in April was our V. We did a small higher low, finished it in a V and A, perfect. We did a big higher low, which finished in a V and A. And in the moment we were finished, we broke out of the little trend line. So now is the question. We didn't do a little higher, we did a higher low. Yeah, we did here a small, tiny higher low. In the moment it was finished, we went up. So this now could easily be your small A right now. So if you're not just saying we go now, because normally you can say when your higher low is finished, you really just go. For this, our next target is 15 to 28. If we still need pullbacks, rule by rule, then you take your bottom fib to your top. That would mean this now would be your A peak. You would come down to 643, bounce, go up to your B at 970. Then you would do another pullback. This would be your B. The pullback to 8, and then you go to your A, your C at 50. But again, the thing is, normally after a higher low, you could just go. Yeah? I know I always want to present a bearish alternative. I just don't have one right now. If you're breaking down here and you break under 593, that's bearish. Okay, then we really have new all-time lows, but I just don't see that. If you go just upside from here, if you break over 969, I think you don't see any pullbacks. You just go up. Okay, next one, SAVA. This here is really our, I would even say 100, 250% risk play. Okay, because I can tell you, if you buy cars and it's not going in the right decision and right direction, you can't get out, because the only alternative to this is we're going down. Yeah, and the contracts are already so worthless. So it's a gamble. If tracking is right, money machine. If tracking is wrong, you can't get out. Why are we tracking this company? It's always doing a gap down, doing bullshit, gap up. Gap down, bullshit, gap up. Gap down, bullshit, gap up. Yeah? And the same we did here. Gap down, bullshit. And we're tracking for the bullish version, gap up. we start with the really bearish old. With the bearish old would mean you would be right now in December 2018 and you would knife. New all-time lows. This sideways action most likely will take till June, July. Then you have the next chance to gap up. So for the bullish version, we look at this section here. And I really have to say, I will zoom in a second. With this candle, I get really bullish. But our absolute bottom for the bullish version was in April. Then we just did higher low. And it ended on December 31st again. And then we just added a small higher low, which ended yesterday, no, not yesterday, Tuesday, also in a perfect higher low. Then we made even a small micro higher low and also ended in a VNA. And in the second we broke out. So for the micro tracking, this could already be your A. This maybe is your B. Yeah, I really just say maybe. So in the worst case, you would go down to 220 and then you rip. But to say this, we made a new high. Yeah. So if you're not really knifing here and saying this was our T, we go up. And also the moves on SAVA are always Friday pre-market, Friday after hours, Monday pre-market. Yeah. During the weeks, if you're not in a run, you just don't see anything. Yeah. So tomorrow would be the next chance to gap up. Also, my time frame was January 8 to January 20. And 2 days after that, we got this little one. So it looks absolutely fantastic. What are the price targets? Well, the price target for me is 24, the gap fill. Yeah. After that, I mean, maybe I track it still, but I go out here. Yeah. Just to say this, there's one last alternative. Yeah. So if we break down here, and that means that if you break downside from here, then this was your A, this was your B. Because from your A bottom to your B peak, 0.5 pullback is working also absolutely great. In that case, this would be your T, and you would still have to fall here to 144. Not seeing that yet, yeah. But then if we do that, this would be a bounce area. But again, don't see that. And it would be dangerous close where we just say we're making new all-time lows. Right now, it looks fucking bullish and ready to gap. Just saying. Okay, and last one, little update on FCEL. So today here also just a small update. We are looking for this B price action right now. So that means we will go up, then doing years of sideways. Yeah, just saying. Our price target for the next move is still around 160 to, let's say, 50. Yeah. So we just look what we have done. So May 2025 was our V, our absolute low. We made a perfect higher low, which also ended in a V and a A. We made again a little higher low. In the moment this was finished, we broke out. We broke out over the trend line. We went to our D landmark, which is our A. We made a pullback, which was a perfect breakout retest. And since then, so since November 2025, we just did a little small higher low, which again ended on December 31st. Quite all stocks I showed had this November V ending of higher low in December 31st. Just saying. Since then, we bounced and we went up. And also to say this, what was that? I mean, this is our little higher low. Then we just take the fib. 0.5 bounce. That means that is easily our A. Somewhere here is already our little B. But I tell you, for levels, everything, I also have that all right here, everything over 10.91 is bullish. And everything over 1239, and we are gone. For the price targets and why I compared to what do I compare this? For absolutely confirmation, if we suddenly see a gap here, that is confirmation. To what do I compare this? I compare this here to 2020. We would be in the most bullish case right here now, ready for gap up. And we would get this move. The only alternative, and it's not a bearish alternative, would be that we are right here now. So we wouldn't get the big run now, but this would still be something between 20 and 50. Just saying, the contracts are still cheap. So again, for levels, everything over 1092. And I don't have an alternative, but then I can't even, I won't think about one anymore. It looks fucking nice. Okay, I think that was everything for today. It was really just a small update, a really big and very good structured and with all stories meme update I will do at the weekend. Also for all the other charts. To say this, for all the other charts I'm presenting, alt tracking, still absolutely nothing changed. Let's see what happens tomorrow. As always, if you liked it, leave a like. The explanation video I will put here, playlist here. I try to put the video with the long storylines here. And if you want to see more, you can leave another. See ya.